Oddity Files.
Podcast. All things creepy,
Cryptic.
otherworldly.
Hey guys, it's Oddity Files,
The podcast. We're back on land.
Thank God. I'm Kitsy Duncan,
And I'm Clayton Abbott.
and we're so happy to have you here. I've been listening back to a couple.
I was like, why can't I hear anything? I had it plugged into my laptop.
I watched you do that, and I'm like, I don't think that's where that goes. But I'm not
Okay.
smart like that.
We're here.
So, train of thought gone. We're
Sorry.
back on
You
land.
said I've been watching, I've been listening, I've been...
Oh, to our past episodes, and we always forget to introduce ourselves and say our names.
Oh.
So that's
Well,
why
we
I
just
did that.
assume that people know by now.
Well, hopefully we're getting new listeners.
Absolutely. I think we are. We for sure are.
Yay.
Well, we know that we're getting some new listeners because when we checked our analytics while we were on the boat, we had like a decent amount of people, and we know that half of our listeners were on that boat.
Oh, that's so true.
So they have to be coming from somewhere.
The cruise was a blast,
It was a lot of fun.
except for Sunday. We went clubbing Saturday night.
Oh, yes, and I have videos I need to show you.
No videos.
Literally videos, but
No.
they will go nowhere except
Oh,
here.
dear God. Oh, Jesus. Anywho, we went to Silent Disco, had a blast, and then Clayton and DJ Jimmy come back with a juice bottle
A
filled
juice
with,
bottle that was supposed to be used for mixers,
but
just turned into consumption.
yeah, I don't know what was in it. Still don't know. I'm not sure I want to know what was in it.
It was just a whole bottle of vodka that we put some OJ in, like a splash of OJ, to make it look like we just had a bottle of orange juice. And then
You
we were
guys are
like,
trouble.
well, there's a third person at hand that
Well,
we're not going to rat out. But yeah, we were like, we'll just bring it down. And then anytime we want to drink, instead of like having to go far away, we'll just go to the bar right here and get like an orange juice and then pour some of this in there. And then like, there we are.
I just remember drinking straight out the
Oh,
bottle.
you were.
On more than one occasion.
And they weren't like sips.
No, they were chugs.
You were going for it.
It was like I was thirsty.
It's okay.
Anywho, Sunday was rough, like I said, but on Sunday I was able to do a live podcast with Dave Schrader from Beyond the Darkness.
Yeah, and it was great. Like the turnout was amazing.
Oh, I know. I was so excited.
There was standing room because
yeah.
all the seats were full.
It was so great. So we'll post on all the social sites when that episode goes up of Beyond the Darkness. Our socials, again, is at Oddity Files on Twitter and Instagram. If you're on Facebook, just search Oddity Files and you'll find us there. We do have a super cool secret group called the Oddity Files Fan Group, I believe. And if you click to join that, we'll get you added. And pretty much I just post really cool paranormal stories in there.
Yeah, and if you actually follow our Instagram, so anytime that we have like a visual that we want you guys to see, obviously we can't show you via podcast. So DJ Jimmy puts all of those up on our Instagram stories, and it's a really cool way to follow along. There's timestamps and all that.
It's so awesome.
This week you probably won't get the video of Kitsy
No.
singing and dancing. But
What do you mean
know,
this week?
I just mean like that would be a visual cue this week.
Well, you made it sound like it's going up next week, and
No.
I don't like that.
But just close your eyes and imagine her singing and dancing to Oh Mickey.
I remember that now. Oh, dear God. Well, I digress.
Maybe we'll just put a point in there with like a timestamp that says like, and now close your eyes, and we'll just play the song, like a snippet of the song.
Oh, yeah. So enough about my wastedness. Chris and I honestly don't remember going back to the room. Apparently, I heard yesterday from Chris that you guys like walked us to our floor, made sure we made it to there.
The elevator.
Yeah.
The elevator, right?
So thank you for that. That was very sweet of
It
you
was a
guys.
lot of fun though.
Yeah. But on to paranormal and less drunkenness. There is a really cool paranormal story in the news that I wanted to tell you guys about. So the headline from CBS Pittsburgh is Hospice Documenting Patients' Mysterious Dream Experiences. And Dr. Christopher Kerr and his team have been documenting dreams or visions of all these dying patients in hospice for years. And to sum it all up, so I'm not reading this complete story to you, is that all these, like 80% of all these people they've been documenting for all these years are having the most vivid dreams they've ever had in their life while they're on hospice. And it's loved ones that have passed that are actually comforting them and making them okay with the thought of death. Some of them, yeah, it's crazy. And it's in Dr. Kerr's like, I don't believe in the supernatural, the paranormal, anything like that. But this is so prevalent that it can't be ignored. So, like, is it your brain trying to make everything okay? But still, I mean, that doesn't even make sense to me. Some people were having actual visions while they're awake, seeing their loved ones, and most of them were actually dreams. And a couple people, in the quotes in this article said, "This is literally the most vivid dream I've ever had in my entire life."
Oh my gosh.
It's kind of neat,
It's very cool, but
but kind of scary.
definitely scary.
Yeah. So I thought that was really cool.
That's in Pittsburgh?
That's where the article
Okay.
came from. Yeah. The hospice has been, I think all the hospices have kind of been collecting this data.
So, a little backstep. Did your head turn around in the Bahamas?
No. Did you see the article I posted in the Facebook fan group where the deer is being
Yes.
grabbed by something with
With
three fingers in the States?
Maybe they are extinct in the Bahamas because
They're all here.
they're here. They hopped on
That
the
was
Pearl.
such a weird story.
I know, right? And came
Yeah.
here.
Oh, speaking of the cruise, remember we talked last week about Ursula being my favorite villain. You've had time to ponder,
Yes.
so I know the audience is anxiously awaiting to find out your favorite Disney villain.
So I think it has to just be Scar, because
But you said it wasn't Scar.
I know, and I didn't think it was, but then I literally went through a list of Disney villains, and I was like, none of these pose any level of importance in my life, but Scar, because I don't know. I just remember like always like hating Scar when I was little.
Yeah.
Because like
He was terrible.
he kills Mufasa, and that
He
scene is like
does.
one of the most tragic of all like Disney classics.
But should we encompass Star Wars into the Disney?
Well, I thought about it. I was like, I'm going with like classic Disney, because
Yeah,
then you could
that's what I
include
did,
Marvel and everything.
Yeah,
so that it's like, what do you
exactly.
do?
I mean, if
But-
we include all those, I'm going Vader, of course.
Obviously.
Okay, good.
But another, I don't know if he's a Disney villain, but I guess he kind of is. Sid from Toy Story.
He's you.
I
Every
know,
time I
literally.
see that kid, I'm like, that's Clayton.
When I was in like at some point in high school and I had braces
And that hair.
and I shaved my head, I literally looked like Sid from Toy Story. And of course it was like one of my friends that brought it up, and I'm like, screw you. Like,
Oh, yeah.
But then I saw it and I'm like, oh, they're not wrong.
No, they're not wrong at all. I don't think you were that evil. I don't know, allegedly.
You know, I did convince my little sister to like cut the hair off her Barbies.
Oh, you are Sid.
Because I was like, does it bother you that they all have the same hair?
That is the weirdest question
Lop it
ever.
off.
Yeah, whatever.
And it was always like, we would hold it and just cut it off. So when you let it go, it was just
It's all like
sticking
out
everywhere.
everywhere.
Speaking of Disney villains, though, did you see that they've announced a Disney villain series?
No.
Yeah, that. So allegedly, Disney, of course, is in the works of a streaming service to compete with Netflix.
Right.
And this is going to be one of the shows, and it's called Book of Enchantment. That's going to
Ooh.
be in this Disney streaming service, but it's all about Disney villains.
So here's my quandary, because I love Maleficent. I love live action Maleficent because you realize she's really not the villain. Where are they going to put her?
I don't know.
Did you know they're making a Maleficent 2?
Yes,
I'm
and
so
Like
excited.
Angelina Jolie's on board and everything.
Yeah. And Michelle Pfeiffer, maybe?
I don't know.
Another big name from that era.
Did you see? So you know how they're bringing back Twilight Zone.
Yes.
So I didn't know Stephen Yeun was in it.
No, neither did I.
Yeah,
Oh, that's crazy.
the most recent teaser that they put out, like you see his face. They're all like a bunch of really quick images.
Yeah.
Or clips, and James like, was that Steven? Was that Steven Yeun? And then sure enough, like a better, like more close up shot of him came up, and we were like, oh my gosh.
Oh, that's awesome.
It was Michelle Pfeiffer.
Oh, was it? Yeah, I think she'd be amazing.
But it's
in Maleficent.
crazy to see like all these Walking Dead people that we've worked with since season 1.
Oh yeah.
That have since left the show, like Cudlitz and Lauren Cohen and Sonequa Martin Green and Denai and like Chandler just picked up a new show.
Oh yeah, Lauren Cohen's new show just premiered last night.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It actually is crazy.
I know, but I'm so happy for them.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's their job, you know. So it's good to see like people that you enjoy being around.
Yeah, which
staying
means they'll come
employed.
back to shows again, which is always a good sign. What'd you say?
I said definitely Sonequa for Star Trek.
Oh, have you seen?
I've never watched it.
She's amazing.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I guess we could go back and catch up. So we just subscribed for CBS on demand or whatever. It's all access. Yeah. We just subscribed to it so that we could watch Survivor. Shamelessly, I don't even care.
Good.
I was nuts about it the first 2 seasons, but that was what 20 years
They're
ago.
on season 38.
That's insane.
You have to watch.
So we hadn't watched it the same since like season 4 or 5 or
Yeah.
whatever. And then last season we accidentally, it was on, and we watched an episode like halfway through the season because we were waiting for something. Oh, we were waiting for American Horror Story to come on.
Oh,
And so the TV just happened to be on because we watched Price is Right in the morning. So when we turned the TV on, Survivor was on. We're like, well, we'll just
that
watch
is
this to pass time.
adorable.
And so then next thing we know, we're watching like 7 episodes in a row to catch up. And then we were like, wait, when does the next season premiere? Like, what's the theme going to be? Like, da-da-da-da.
And now on All Access, we have access to literally every episode.
So you can go all the way.
We can
back.
go all the way back.
It was like Elizabeth was like my favorite. Then like season
Yeah,
2,
two.
she was cute little blonde.
Australian Outback.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, crazy.
I can just still hear the theme song in my head.
Can you guys tell we haven't caught up since the cruise?
Yeah, right.
We're just
Bantering.
yeah. I guess we should probably tell stories
I
because
guess
that's
we
kind of
should
why
tell
people.
stories. Who did go first last time?
Well, it is Kitty's turn.
Oh, it's my turn. Yay.
Oh.
So, I have I was channel surfing one day and I came across a show called Closed Case with AJ Benza, which I don't know where I know him from, but 90 something. Anyway, he was covering the curse of the Poltergeist franchise.
Okay.
Which I've known a little bit about. You know, you heard about the older sister dying after the first one, and everybody knew that the Heather O'Rourke, who played Carol Ann, died during the filming of the
Right.
third one. And I've always heard, you know, allegedly the film series was cursed, and so I was blown away with everything that happened. So here's my story. The movie is both the reason I was terrified of paranormal as a child and probably my current obsession with the world of the paranormal, all in the same thing. This is the problem with ADD with a heavy dose of OCD. The original film premiered in 1982. I saw it at a drive-in theater, and it fucked with my head for months afterwards. It's probably the first scary movie I had ever seen because my mother wouldn't let me watch scary movies. So I think that's why it left such a mark on me. So I did have nightmares. I'd see things. At one point, I thought I saw, you know, the hand that comes jumping out of the TV?
Right.
At one point, I thought I saw that come out of the wall in my bedroom. It was over my baby sister's crib, who's 10 years
What?
younger than I was. So she was 2. It was terrifying. The movie takes the lore of ghosts and brings it to suburbia. I literally lived in a neighborhood that looked identical to one in the movie like 2 years before that. And I think that's again, is what left its mark. So I guess all curses have an origin, either accidental or intentional. And this curse seems to go along the lines of accidental. In the movie, spoilers, I mean, if you haven't seen the 1982 Poltergeist yet, sorry.
You've had time.
The family finds out that the reason for the hauntings of their house is tied to the skeletons of indigenous Americans that are dug up during a pool installation to make an awesome movie sound totally boring. But it appears the scene may also have been the reason for the curse. So the legend has it that the prop skeletons that come up out from the water when the pool's being dug up, they were real.
What?
They were real life skeletons.
How?
Yeah. Well, I'm going to get into that. Legend says that the prop skeletons weren't really props at all, but actual skeletons dug up from an ancient burial ground in India. They were then donated to a medical research facility, and then the prop masters were able to get these real skeletons dirt cheap from the research facility, unbeknownst to most of the cast and crew. First and foremost, who is this prop guy, and I hope he's still not working, because damn. And this is where many people believe the curse of Poltergeist started. What was to happen to the cast and crew is what seals the deal for many that these bones were actually cursed. It all started playfully with Jo Beth Williams. She plays the mom in the first one. She'd find things moved around in her home, like pictures would be crooked, and she mentioned it to people, and people just kind of, laughed it off. And then Dominique Dunn, she plays the older sister in that one. She had similar activity, but books were actually flying off the shelves in her home, which is very interesting. Now, I had never, ever heard this before. Oliver Robbins, he plays Robbie, the brother. He has the scene with the clown, which I'm going to get into here. He was actually the first to have the curse attack him on set. We're all familiar with the clown scene of the first movie, and it scarred many, many, many people for life, and I think including my husband. During the filming of this iconic scene, this animatronic clown doll kind of takes a life of its own, and the remote control stops working, and the clown continues to choke poor Oliver. And they're like, damn, this kid is like killing it. I mean, this scene is going to be
Acting for
amazing.
his life.
Until the director kind of is like, no, I think something is wrong, reached in, pulled the doll off of him, and he was able to breathe again.
Oh my God.
Isn't that insane? Yeah. A few months after the shooting of the first movie wrapped, this is the one pretty much everybody's heard of. The first real tragedy of the curse hit. At her home, Dominique Dunn was brutally attacked by her ex-boyfriend on her front lawn. He ended up taking her to her neighbor's backyard and strangled her in broad daylight. She was 23 years old when she died.
Oh my gosh.
But I guess producer said, the show must go on. Filming begins on Poltergeist 2, and after the first day of shooting, the crew goes back to look at the dailies, which is the footage they film that day, kind of make sure everything's okay.
Right.
And lo and behold, there's actually no footage on the negative. So I can see maybe one scene for getting to press record, because been there, done that. But the entire day's worth of footage was lost.
Whoa, that's detrimental.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. But guess what? They were using real skeletons again on Poltergeist 2. I know. The scene they were filming was of these skeletons. So I'm just saying, I would just pack up, go home, whip out the sage, but not these guys. When Will Sampson, who plays the Native American spirit man in the movie, came on set, he just felt something was off. Sampson was a shaman in real life and was the first to bring up this feeling of just something was off. And then it was brought up that they were using the real skeletons again, and that's what was putting out the bad vibe again. And he said that he would go ahead and leave the set doors open. I'm going to come in tonight, and I'm going to, do my rituals and smudge the place and see if we can get rid of this negativity and this so-called quote-unquote curse. So the next day, everybody came back. Everything felt better. Everything felt brighter. No more tension, no more bad vibes. So they thought that everything was okay. So throughout the filming of the second movie, Sampson started wearing an oxygen mask on set. That's the guy who saged the place, and started looking more and more frail. It turns out he had emphysema and had taken a super quick turn for the worse after he had performed the exorcism ritual on set. It's terrifying. And 1 year after the day of the cleansing/exorcism, Will Sampson died on the operating table during a routine surgery at the age of 52. Craig T. Nelson, which we all know he was the dad, he had gone on record to say the presence of Sampson on set during the filming of Poltergeist 2 saved the cast and crew from tragedy. So just his presence being there, because nothing else really happened. And he Craig T. Nelson believes that it ended up costing him his life.
Whoa.
Nuts. I'm covered in goosebumps right now. So then the studio starts talking Poltergeist 3 because, third time's a charm, right?
Oh, God.
Are you kidding me? When filming the third film, an explosion scene went horribly wrong, going off much larger than anyone had anticipated and causing millions of dollars of unwanted damage. It was in a car park, and cars that weren't even affiliated with the movie ended up setting on fire, and just millions of dollars of damage. And then there's the iconic puddle scene from episode 3, Poltergeist 3.
I'm with you, yeah.
And they had built this huge pool of water to film into the water from the outside so they wouldn't need underwater cameras. And as filming was about to begin, a crew member screams out, "Everybody off set," as this 8-inch thick glass that created this pool of water started cracking from the inside out. For no apparent reason. That's insane. And if they had not abandoned set, people could have died. And there's a couple more. So the most memorable character, aside from Carol Ann, is Tangina to me. She's the lady in the first one who goes, "This house is clean." She's the little teeny tiny medium lady that comes in.
That's who from Insidious. Have you ever seen any of the Insidious movies?
I think I saw the first one.
She reminds me of, I feel like that character was inspired by that character.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Could be. She played Zelda Rubinstein, which I never knew who her character name was. And she was more than a little freaked out when shooting publicity photos for Poltergeist 3. In the middle of this shoot, she felt a jolt of electricity or energy go through her body, and she actually lurched forward. She's not a medium in real life, so she was freaked out by all this. And the crew, is like, "Oh my God, are you okay?" She's like, "Yeah, I'm fine." But during this shoot, producer Barry Bernardi gets a phone call just after she had this incident that her mother had just passed, which is kind of crazy, but it gets crazier. The next day, the photographer was looking through the proof sheet. So, he's got all the photos all lined up. Mm-hmm. And the one they took at that moment when she felt that jolt of electricity has a white mist in front of her. Crazy. So that may just be something personal for her. It may be part of the curse. I don't really see that as part of the curse, but it's still an interesting story.
It's still relevant.
Yeah. And then later filming a scene in the John Hancock building for season 3, Poltergeist 3. The building engineer was on set for this particular scene. So he was actually part of the building maintenance crew as opposed to the actual film crew. Once filming was done and everybody started to leave, the engineer was still sitting in his chair. A crew member, assuming he had just fallen asleep, tried to wake him up, only to realize that he had died during the filming that night. Jeez. And then this one is the heartbreaker. So Heather O'Rourke, she played our sweet little blonde hair, blue-eyed baby angel, Carol Ann, was pretty much the face of the franchise.
Right.
Sadly, during the filming of the third movie, Heather was battling a mysterious illness. And when you watch the third movie, she starts out real thin and just bloats throughout filming. And I always wondered, what had happened there. The crew was setting up the final scene to film in what would end up being the final movie of the trilogy when Heather's agent called the set to tell the director that Heather had died. She had died from an intestinal infection. She was 12 fucking years old.
Whoa.
12. And she was misdiagnosed from a bad reading of an x-ray. And her death could have totally been avoided.
Good Lord.
Yeah. And this is what brought the possibility of these movies being cursed to the light of day. The press had a field day with it after the third one was done. and it's personally something I've always wanted to know more about, and I hope you did too. And all these things could have been a coincidence.
But what are the odds?
What are the chances?
Whoa.
Nuts. Absolutely nuts. And, they say a lot of horror movies claim to be cursed, this, that, and other for publicity reasons, but that's a whole lot of shit going on.
That's weird.
Yeah.
And it's not like, okay, I get it if it's just like the robot messing up. It's snowing outside.
It is snowing outside.
Sorry. If it's like just the robot messing up, like, okay, stuff's going to happen on set.
Right.
But over the production of 3 films, like...
And it just kept going.
I blame the prop guy.
Totally.
I absolutely blame the prop guy. All these...
Oh, absolutely.
All these spirits are pissed off. They're like, this is what you're doing with my body.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, not to mention, they were stolen from their
Right.
grave.
I know.
I mean, I totally feel bad for them.
How did he not get in trouble?
I don't know.
I have questions that need answers.
I know, right? AJ Benza didn't go over that shit.
That's so crazy.
It's nuts. Absolutely nuts. So that is the curse of the Poltergeist franchise.
Oh, that's good. I liked that.
Yeah.
So mine, you might know a little bit about it, but I don't know. The Minnesota Iceman?
No.
Okay, great. Good. I like that.
I
I hate when with all like the like mysteries at the museum and all this that you watch, I'm always scared like she already knows everything.
No, I don't retain it. It's called Alzheimer's.
So in 1968, 2 cryptozoologists, Ivan Sanderson, a science writer, and Dr. Bernard Heuvelmans, a Belgian naturalist, thought they had made the find of the century. Heuvelmans had been a house guest of Sanderson when the two of them heard about a creature not quite human and very hairy that was preserved in a block of ice. The creature had been shown in carnivals and fairs across the Midwest. Its exhibitor, Frank Hansen, had claimed that it was a man left over from the Ice Age and charged people 25 cents for a peek in its refrigerated glass coffin.
What a bargain.
Right. So Sanderson and Heuvelmans, they're like, we're not sure, but let's go check it out.
Yeah.
So they drive to Hansen's farm where the thing had been stored for the winter, which is funny, but anyways.
Yeah.
It was in a cramped trailer. They examined the creature and became convinced that they found a Neanderthal man, Bigfoot, or something of,
something in between,
of those
maybe.
likes,
Yeah.
So they stayed and they studied it for 3 days.
Oh, shit.
And Heuvelmans believed that it was legit.
Can we just talk about your pronunciation of Heuvelmans? It's excellent.
Thanks. It's probably completely wrong, but I'm sticking with this. He even smelled the decay where part of the ice block exposed the body of it, and it like reeked of decay. They also discovered that it had apparently been shot through the eye. So Heuvelman guessed that the creature had been murdered in Vietnam during the war and smuggled into the United States in a body bag. Don't know where he got that idea, but he was confident about it.
Okay. As long as he's confident.
Right.
Go Heuvelman.
So Heuvelman wrote a paper about the beast for the Institute of Natural Science in Belgium, and he named it Preliminary Note on a Specimen Preserved in Ice, unknown living hominid.
Okay.
Mouthful.
Yeah.
And then Sanderson wrote an article called Living Fossil on the same subject for Slim Magazine.
Okay.
So the Smithsonian got involved because they see this and they're like, what's going on? Like, why don't we know about this?
Of course.
Literally like the Smithsonian.
Which is huge.
So Sanderson approached Dr. John Napier about scientifically examining it. So Napier's from the Smithsonian. So
Is it still frozen?
yes, it's in a whole block of ice.
Wow.
So like they can only examine the only part of it that's exposed is this like little part that's like
I'm
either
picturing his
melted or chipped
big
away.
toe.
But it's like preserved in this ice block.
Okay.
So the Smithsonian though found out about the murder theory being like, if it is just a really hairy man that's been
they
shot
exist.
and frozen, like this isn't what we need to be
Off to
involved in.
homicide. Yeah.
Yes. So they asked the FBI to investigate it.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So the head of the agency, then J. Edgar Hoover, declined pointing out that there was no law violated if the beast was indeed a non-human. So like
back to the Smithsonian.
right.
Okay.
So if it's not just a really hairy man, no one's breaking the law here.
Okay.
Yeah. It's no different than having like taxidermy.
Yeah,
you know?
no, absolutely.
But it was funny because while all this is going on, keep in mind this man that's traveling these carnivals changed all of his signs, and they then said, "The near man investigated by the FBI."
Yeah,
And then he probably charged 30 cents. You know?
oh yeah, you got to get the publicity wherever you can.
Because then he took it back on the road. So
Which
and
seems sketchy. I really feel like it should be sitting in a vault somewhere until it's figured
Right.
out. Go ahead.
So an additional twist to the murder story occurred when the tabloid The National Bulletin ran a story in which a woman, Helen Westring, claimed that she had killed the creature. And according to the story, Westring had been hunting in Minnesota in a town with a nightmare of a name in 1966 when the thing attacked her, and she killed it with a shot through the right eye,
Okay.
which is consistent with the thing. But if she had ever been to a carnival and seen it,
Well,
it's in a block of ice. You can tell its eye is gone.
Yeah.
So I feel like Helen is just looking for 15 minutes of fame.
Egg attention whore. What?
So at the same time, a Hollywood special effects firm claimed that they had made the Iceman in 1967.
What?
Howard Ball, who made figures for Disneyland with his son Kenneth, had modeled it in a fake rubber, trying to make it look like their idea of a Euro early modern human, which are like Neanderthals from anywhere, I think it said from like 400,000 to 37,000
Okay.
years ago,
I could see that.
with a broken skull and one eye popped out. So Helen saying she shot it.
No, take me back. So he
Howard-
created it with a broken skull?
Correct.
Well, that's not Disney.
Oh no, he just worked for Disney.
Oh.
But he's saying he did this just to make
Just for shits and giggles.
it with his son.
Okay.
So Helen's saying she shot it. Howard and Kenneth are saying, well, they made it out of fake rubber.
Thaw that bitch out.
Like, listen. So Hansen, carnival guy,
Okay.
never clearly confirmed or denied that the original creature was a model, saying that the creature was originally owned by a mysterious millionaire who declined to have it examined.
Yeah, I'm just going to call bullshit.
So the Smithsonian loses interest, and they're
Of
like,
course.
we just wasted all this time and money on a hoax. So they
Yeah.
literally just like, we're
We're
out.
done
We
with
don't even
you.
care anymore.
Yeah.
Sanderson and Huevelmans are now embarrassed beyond belief
Of
because
course
they've like
they are.
written like books and all this stuff about this thing. So they backed off of their original claims about the creature. What's crazy is that as for the Iceman himself, Hansen removed it from from his carnival, and even reported destroying it. But rumors say that it still shows up at trade shows and like freak shows every now and then.
Really?
But no one really knows what happened to it.
Well, that tells me it's a fake. If it just disappeared. And maybe the Disney guy's making more and sending them to these. I don't know. That's bizarre.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Like there are actual photos of it. Like it's not like this is all just a made up story. Like all this stuff actually happened.
And all the time and money and
But when
resources.
all the drama came up of all these people saying, no, I did this, no, I did this,
And
the
where had
Smithsonian leaving.
Had that thought it out from the beginning, it'd been like, oh, that's a rubber suit.
Right. But why did it smell?
Yeah, see that? I was like, did I imagine he said it stunk?
Yeah. They
but
could
yeah,
like smell the decay when they went in the trailer.
And it's just gone.
It's just,
Okay, who has it? Email us, oddityfilescrew@gmail.com.
Bemidji, Minnesota.
Bemidji, Minnesota.
If not, Helen, if you're still with us, go hunting again.
Yeah, bring us another one. We'll take it frozen. I'll thaw that bitch out, but
But like my thing is, and I found
wow.
a photo online that I'm sure James will post, but it says that it was the first like decent resolution photo, not from the 60s,
Right.
of this thing. And it looks like it has a messed up face and like, yeah, but
okay, so somebody had to. I feel like the guy who was charging
right.
a quota knew it was fake.
I don't know. I mean, In my mind, absolutely. He's like a traveling carnival.
Right.
But if you think about it, like at the time, like the bearded lady and all, like those were real. Like at freak shows,
Yeah. Yeah.
they're all real.
Huh.
You know what I mean? Like I think it was a human, like the Wolfman people with like hair
Oh,
and their
yeah,
face
yeah.
and everything. I think it was someone like that crazy carnival guy
Shot in the face. And
froze
frozen.
him, and then claimed that it was a Neanderthal.
Yeah.
Because like,
I don't know.
I don't either. I don't.
I want to talk to the guy who worked for Disney. I want to know if he looked at that and says, "Oh yeah, that's what I made," or if he's just, "Oh yeah, I'm that good. I can make this kind of prop."
Smell.
Look
as
at
well.
me. I want my 15 minutes of fame.
Howard Ball.
Howard Ball. Howard. Oddity Files crew at gmail.com. I want to talk to you. That's a great story.
It was cool. I like that it like there's no resolve, and it's not even like a cryptid where there's no resolve. Like, is it real?
It's like, is it still out there?
Right. My thing is, what was he lugging this thing? Because if
I know.
if a full human were to be frozen in ice, that's some heavy shit.
Well, how did he okay, it was
A
the
single
30s?
bag of ice you get from the convenience store is heavy.
Oh, it's heavy.
Think about a block with a
Oh, yeah.
mysterious man in it.
And if he's in this like circus type atmosphere, you have the circus in the summer. How's he keeping it frozen under the tent?
What did it say? It said that he charged 25 cents for a peek at the thing in its refrigerated glass coffin.
Oh.
This man was making money.
Yeah, he was. 25
I
cents
can
is
only
probably
imagine that
$3 million
refrigerated glass
nowadays.
coffin would not be cheap.
No.
It's like a really big deep freezer.
I need to know more. Damn
Howard
it.
Ball, we need answers.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call someone at the Smithsonian. Be like,
What
"Do you
really
remember this?"
happened?
And they're probably gonna laugh.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We don't talk about that.
Yeah, don't. We buried that.
Excuse me. I did get called out a couple weeks ago that I burp in every episode.
Do you?
I think I do. I hit it this time. So if you guys can find that, you let me know. That was great.
Yeah, it was really cool. Crazy though. So, as you know, next week we will be at Horror Hound for our live panel, which is so exciting.
So exciting.
At 7?
6 to 7.
6 to 7.
Yeah.
I'm super, super excited.
I am too. We need to
hope
make
we
a
have
video,
fans.
by the way. I said we'd make a video on the cruise to promote it on the...
Oh, right. And I'm like, what do we need to make? Like a hype video? But yeah.
Yeah, just whatever. We can just look at it and stick our tongues out.
I can't wait.
I'm so excited. I've actually gotten Clayton and I a uniform
Yes.
that we're going to wear.
So the only way you're going to know what it is if you show up
Yep.
or wait until the following. When are we going to? Is that going to be an episode?
I would think so. Yeah.
Okay, so you're going to have to wait till the next week for it to
Yeah.
air to find out what we.
It is going to be on Friday.
So we
Right.
can have it the following Friday, maybe.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. The following Friday.
Yeah. I love it. This is completely off topic.
Okay.
But I was talking to a friend of mine last week.
Oh,
and
great.
And he knew that I was into the paranormal and this, that, and the other. And I walk into the room and he's like, do you know the farm in just Westfield, I think it is?
Yeah.
Called Fox Hollow Farms? I'm like, yes, I do. But in case you listeners don't know about what I'm calling my dream home, it's like an 18-acre ranch.
Yeah.
Just right near Carmel. I think it's Westfield. I'm not absolutely positive. But a serial killer lived there. Probably killed more than 20 people there. His name was Herb Baumeister. If you want to look him up, feel free. He was a serial killer in the 90s and allegedly responsible for 20 plus murders. And nearly half of these murders took place at Fox Hollow Farms. This is where Rob Graves has lived for the past 10 years. So any of you that have seen the Ghost Adventures episode on Fox Hollow Farms, you know the story I'm about to tell you. And then you know that this place is haunted, but you mix the true crime with the haunted, and it's this girl's dream. Here's a little bit on Herb Baumeister for those true crime geeks out there like myself. In the 1990s, investigators with the Marion County Sheriff's Department and the Indianapolis Police Department began investigating the disappearance of gay men of similar age, height, and weight in the Indianapolis area in 1992. Investigators were contacted by a man named Tony Harris claiming that a gay bar patron calling himself Brian Smart had killed a friend of his and had attempted to kill him with a pool hose during an erotic asphyxiation session. Jeez. Harris eventually happened to see this same man again in August of 1995, following him and noting the license plate number. So this went on for quite a while. Right. Herb was married with 2 children. Apparently he was gay. The 90s were a different time than we're in now. Kind of. Still blaming him. But the weirdest thing I found from this story, he had sex with his wife 6 times in 20 years. Do you not know there's a problem there? 6 times. Anywho.
Red flag.
Yeah.
Wait, and how many kids?
3.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but it all got kind of brushed under the carpet that all these gay men were disappearing. I guess allegedly they said, well, no, they've just gone off to the cops would tell them they've just gone off to the big city. They don't want to be in Indiana, but they were really dying. And it pisses me off that I never even heard of this story.
Me either.
And I thought it was maybe because I lived in Chicagoland at the time and it just didn't get out. But I was talking to this gentleman, the interview we're about to play. I swear I will promise I'm going to get to it eventually. But he says even in India, it was kind of all swept under the rug.
Because this is in the 90s, early 90s?
Yeah.
Whoa.
It's really sad and pisses me off. But I still want to investigate there. I feel like these young men have fucking stories to tell and I want to fucking tell them.
Whoa.
But anyway, here is my interview with Rob Graves. He's he's got a book coming out in September about Fox Hollow Farms.
Whoa.
And he's going to tell us all about the good stuff here.
Well, the first thing that happened to me and my wife was I was on the back of the house painting, and I was up on a ladder, and my wife hollers up to me and says, "There's a man in the woods in a red shirt." So I get down off the ladder, and because of the history of the house, and it had been vacant for about 5 years before we got here, people would come down the drive just to see where this stuff had happened. If we don't keep the gate shut, we have a gate, but when we first got here, I didn't keep it shut all the time, and people would drive down the drive. So I thought it was another one of those in Hollywood they call them looky-loos.
Oh yeah,
we want to see where stuff happened. So I get out the ladder and I said, "Well, where is he?" And she said, "Well, he's gone." And I said, "Well, where did he go?" And she said, "Well, I didn't tell you, but that's the second time I've seen it." And I said, "Saw what?" And she said, "Over by those 3 trees, a guy in a red shirt, sort of walking away." She said he had very short, like Marine-style crew haircut. And she said he literally walked into the woods, or into the trees, rather, and just disappeared.
Oh, my goodness.
The strange thing about him was he was see-through from the waist down. He did not have any legs, or at least the appearance of legs.
Did he acknowledge her in any way, or was he just there and gone?
He was there. He was walking away from her into the woods. So, I made a joke about, you're losing your mind or something like that.
Yeah, that sounds like my husband.
I said, well, and we were married a long time, 33, 34 years. And so it was very uncharacteristic of her to say something like that, rather than off the wall. So I didn't think a whole lot more about it, other than, she really believed what she had seen. So we had rented we have an in-law quarters to a young guy that I knew. He needed a place. Mm-hmm. And he got on the internet one night and found that a paranormal group had come to the house about a year before we moved in. The house was empty, but there was a caretaker here. Apparently he would just let anyone come by and visit.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So I emailed the guy, and he called me back, and he says, I asked him, did you find anything while you were here? And he says, well, yeah. He says, haven't you seen anything? And I said, well, no. He said, well, that's one of the most haunted houses in Indiana. And I said, well, my wife saw something. And he says, let me tell you what she saw and where she saw it. He said, you look out your master bathroom window to the west side of the property. There's a group of 3 trees. She saw a guy in a red shirt with no legs.
Okay, that had to be creepy.
Yeah, this was on the telephone, unsolicited comment, and I said, yeah, that's what she saw. So at that point, he says, well, we would love to come back and do a full investigation for you at no cost and confidential. And we had decided before we did all this that we were just trying to sort of ignore the history and sort of move on.
Understandably so.
And so I really didn't want any part of that. So about another 6 months goes by, and I got a call from the same guy that I had called about what happened. And he said, look, I've got a paranormal conference here in town. I have people from the History Channel, the Travel Channel, the Sci-Fi Channel, and we would love to come out and do an investigation for you, but it has to be this week. It's, these people are in from out of town.
Never mind that you live there.
Right. Yes. So something told me, I agreed to it. I said, okay, sure. So that following, that was like Thursday. My wife had gone to this Colorado for a medical conference. I called her and I said, hey, the Ghostbusters will be back out or be out on Saturday. And she said, good. Maybe they'll pick up on what I pick up on. And once again, I have to ask, what are you talking about? She said, well, there's a place in the house I don't like to go. I said, where? And she said, well, I don't want to tell you because you'll tell them. I said, no, I won't tell them. So very reluctantly, she says, in your bathroom in front of the closet. So I said, what's wrong? She said, hair just stands over the back of my neck. I just something tells me I shouldn't be in there. I said, okay. So these people come out the following Saturday, about 30 people. I recognize some of them from some television shows, and 2 psychics came.
Oh, wow.
It was a woman and her son who was 18, and apparently he had seen and heard spirits since he was 2. So they come in our entryway, and they're introducing themselves, and the female psychic, she points to the top of the stairs and said, there's a male spirit at the top of the stairs, just glaring at me. And I said, and of course I can't see it.
Okay, I've got goosebumps you just saying that.
And then her son chimes in and says, and exactly the way he said it was, there's a room in this house for a man I want to see. Room for a man. Well, of course, that was my bathroom. So to sort of wrap this up quickly, all of those people sort of wound up in my bathroom. There's some sort of feeling about that room, blah, blah. So this went on until about 3 o'clock in the morning, and they told me things very specific about the killer, about the killings, things that you could see on the internet. But
okay.
So I really wasn't convinced. And,
I understand.
So about midweek, those people left, and about midweek, one of the investigators had given me her card, and I felt she was a little bit more on the level. She wasn't as dramatic as these other people. And I called her, and I said, they knew too much. It was just a little too corny. And I called, I said, do you have a psychic maybe that you know that would not know the story or the history? Mm-hmm. And she said, I believe I do. And I said, can you call her? She said, sure. So the following weekend, she brings up a lady from Morrisville, Indiana, and her name was Myrna Clark, and she, Myrna Cook, and she came up to the house and she said, what do you want me to do? And I said, just walk around. And she walked around for about 20 minutes. I didn't tell her anything.
Good.
And she said, I'm drawn to the backyard. I said, okay. Oh. So she goes out the front door, around to the back side of the house, and walks directly to the spot where the killer had burned some bones. Now, it just looks like woods. You can't tell it was ever a fire.
Right.
And she stood there for a few minutes, and she said, I see fire. Not that you're going to have a fire. The fire has already happened. And she said, I feel people are buried here.
Oh, my gosh.
And I didn't say yes or no. I didn't confirm anything. So she came back inside. We sat down at the table, and I said, Myrna, what's going on here? And she said, well, there's at least 4 spirits in your house. And she said they were victims of a killer. Matter of fact, there were a lot of killings here. And she said, after that, she said these spirits are sort of trapped here. And then she said, your bathroom. And at that point, I said, okay, Myrtle, what's wrong with my bathroom? You don't like it. My wife doesn't like these other people. She said, well, your bathroom's a portal. And
What?
I said, what's a portal? She said, a portal is an area where the spirits transition from this world where we are to where they are stuck. She said a lot of times people that die, and especially people that die violently, don't know they're dead, and they don't know they need to go to the light.
Okay.
Which is what a lot of psychics have described. After you die, you make a trip. Your spirit makes a trip. So these people are caught somewhere in between where they're supposed to go and here. And of course I said, you need to get rid of it. And she said, well, I can't. But she said eventually the positive energy of the family being here will close the portal.
Oh, that's neat. I've not heard that before. That's really neat.
But those are the two things. My wife telling me about a guy in the woods in a red shirt, and a total stranger telling me about a guy in the woods in a red shirt. And then the bathroom. She tells me about the bathroom, and then all these other people tell me about the bathroom.
That's very interesting. I've not heard the whole portal theory before.
Yeah. So those are the two things that I have serious questions about because I can't explain them.
Absolutely.
Had she not told me those two things and then total strangers told me about them, I'd blow a lot of it off. But
absolutely
sort of blow that off.
Yeah. So about your book, you kind of wrote it with somebody else who's into the paranormal, correct?
Correct. Yeah. This guy's name is Richard Estep, E-S-T-E-P, and Richard lives in Colorado, and he's published 7 or 8 books on the paranormal, and he approached me about doing this. And I said, well, I'm not interested so much in that, but I would be glad to cover the factual part of the case, the crime part. And we agreed, and we did it, and it's due to be published in September.
That's awesome. And it's available on pre-sale on Amazon right now. And
it is.
In writing the book, did you come across anything that you were surprised by, or did he come across anything that he was surprised by?
Well, there is one thing that we did, run across. During all of this, the killer, the alleged killer, did not kill one person. And that one person had sort of come into our lives recently. He wanted to come back out here and sort of make peace with everything. He had not been here in 20 years.
Oh, wow.
And I agreed to let him come back out. And he told a really entirely different story to us about what his relationship was with the killer.
Oh.
The official story here is that he was here once. They did whatever they were going to do, and then he took him back to his car. The killer took him back to his car downtown, and that was it.
Okay.
Well, according to this survivor, as we call him, this relationship went on for about 2.5 years.
Oh, wow. And, of course, everybody's going to have to buy the book to find out the story behind that, which is very, very interesting.
That's right.
Awesome. Well, like I said, you live in my dream home. Someday I will get out there and investigate it or see if I feel any weird things. But that's, the story you told me about the psychic who said that the positivity of the family will close the portal. That's like the best news that I've heard all day. So thank you for that.
Sure. And I can tell you that it has quieted down the activity. The paranormal or poltergeist, but it has quieted down over the years. But they still periodically let us know they're here. And we certainly didn't set out to do this. Certainly profit over, of course, very little. But we were drugged down this path to sort of tell this story. And the victims, these guys that were killed, they didn't get much recognition in life, and they certainly didn't get much in death. So we may be giving them a little bit of a voice and maybe some closure.
That's incredible.
Isn't that amazing?
But I want to go so bad.
I'm working on it. I'm going to keep working on it. And a great guy. And I love how, so his wife is a forensic scientist. So for her to see that ghost, acknowledge the fact that that was a ghost is a really big deal. And I get her not wanting to tell him because she thinks she's crazy because I live it every day. And I had heard, so this is the second time I recorded this interview. We're not going to talk about it. But in the first interview, he mentioned that he's only had one experience himself.
Wow.
He was in the pool room, the little place where the filters and everything are down in the basement. And he sees shadow figures down there a lot, which makes complete sense. That's where the murders happened, was in the pool room of this home. And one time and one time only, I think he blocks it out. I'm going to put that out there.
Tries to ignore it,
Yes.
right?
He felt someone brush by him when he was down there by himself. Yeah. It's absolutely, what a great guy though. And I love the fact that for paranormal junkies like us and true crime junkies like us, he's put together this book.
Absolutely.
Which again, it's on Amazon Prime. It's called The Horrors of Fox Hollow Farm: Unraveling the History and Hauntings of a Serial Killer's Home. And it's by Richard Estep and Robert Graves.
Very cool.
Yeah, I'm pretty stoked about it.
It's so crazy though. Something like in your backyard that you had no idea about.
And it was swept under the rug for all these
Absolutely.
years. And it just pisses me off. Anywho. Y'all are coming to see us at Horror Hound, right?
Better be.
I heard you all say yes. We're totally expecting you there. I feel like there's something I'm forgetting to mention in this one.
Oh, we did get word back from Amazon, and we think we have it narrowed down to what's going on with season 2.
Yes.
So hopefully we'll get all that finalized like by the first of this upcoming week, so that collectively we can all have our shit together.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Promise.
Yeah,
But
we'll get there. It'll be
this
worth the
also
wait.
means that hypothetically season 3 won't be as long as
Of a
like,
wait.
you won't have to wait.
Yes.
I don't know what I'm saying.
And if you haven't already, add Oddity Files to your Amazon Prime watch list.
Yes.
And I think it'll update you if there's a new season. At least I'm hoping so. I'll let you know. I'm. It's on my watch list. Is it on your watch
It
list?
is.
Awesome. Hey guys, we really appreciate you listening to us and sending your emails. We've gotten some great stories. We wanted to get this interview up as soon as possible because it was awesome. But next week we'll have more listener stories, but keep sending them in. We love them. Now, just remember when you send it in, don't just send in a sentence of what you had happen to you. If you send in a well-written email, you have more chance of having us read it on the air.
Yeah, absolutely. And keep interacting with us on social. We love that. We love, seeing you guys tweet at us asking like if we've made any discoveries on any of our stories or anything like that. So yeah, we just love interacting with you guys.
Yeah, we're at Oddity Files on everything. Thanks so much for listening, guys. Where does the new cool?
And we'll see you next week.
See ya.